So yesterday on Netflix, I saw that Alex Honnold was climbing Taipei 101, which if you're unfamiliar with that, it was the tallest building once upon a time until around 2010 maybe. And Alex Honnold is a rock climber who got famous for climbing El Capitan in Yosemite with no ropes or anything. So yeah, I mean, he already climbed a 3,000 foot mountain at one point in his life, but the reason him climbing Taipei 101, even though it's around half the height, is so much different is because whenever he was climbing the mountain in Yosemite, he had actually practiced on that same mountain multiple times with ropes, and then after practicing a bunch of times, he then climbed it without ropes, and they made a documentary about it. The reason Taipei 101 is so different is, one, it's not rocks, it's a building, so it's a little bit different to climb. And he also had no practice climbing it beforehand. He had to train, but he couldn't train by climbing the building first. And especially towards the top, you can see it gets very difficult. There's overhangs, and it seems really hard to do. And Netflix had him doing this live on there, and it was so cool to watch. And my one complaint about this is they did a terrible job of advertising that he was about to do this climb. This climb is something that's never been done before. The building was 1,600 feet, and pretty much the entire climb was done at an incline. So he was climbing, at this angle on this side, which is extremely hard to do. And it took him over an hour of climbing to do it. That's so long and so tiring to be at that angle. And it was just so amazing, and I'm just confused why Netflix and North Face was the main brand sponsoring this as well, and both of them didn't do a very good job of advertising this, in my opinion. The only reason I even discovered this was because my girlfriend texted me and said, oh, there's some guy climbing a super tall building in Thailand, and I looked, and it was Alex Honnold free soloing it, and I was like, what the heck? Why have I not heard about this at all? And I tell one of my friends I used to rock climb with too, and he didn't know about it, and I tell my parents, and my dad's the one who introduced me to who Alex Honnold was at one point, and he didn't know about it either. I think Netflix and North Face they need to put some ads in our face next time there's something this cool happening. This was so cool. I think doing stuff that impressive always makes some sports that are a little bit less talked about brought to the attention of people, which I really like. Whenever somebody does something really great in a sport, it just really makes a lot of people interested in it than otherwise wouldn't have been. I'm kind of included in that. I've watched, the one rock climbing documentary. I watched one rock climbing guy on social media named Lincoln Climbs, but I don't really watch it very much, and I'm not a very serious climber. I just do it occasionally for fun. But the reason I wish they advertised this more is it was something so crazy, and I think it would have really brought a lot of attention to the sport that not a lot of people talk about, unfortunately, even though it is one of the coolest sports out there. All the super great people in sports brought so many people to it. Arnold Schwarzenegger brought so many people to bodybuilding. I know that whenever Michael Jordan was in his prime, a lot of people started watching basketball to watch him play and things like that. And when you have a guy who's climbing one of the world's tallest buildings with no ropes, that's the kind of thing that needs to be advertised, because it actually would bring so much attention to this sport that not a lot of people really think about. And since North Face was kind of the one sponsoring him here, I think they should have done it too, because North Face is a big outdoors brand. I think if more people started getting into climbing, North Face would probably make more money. I hope when people are scrolling their TikTok videos and their reels today that they see stuff about this, because this was really cool. And everybody I know that I didn't tell to watch it didn't really know about it. I asked some guy, I was like, dude, are you watching this? He's like, no, I'm just watching the UFC. What is that? I'm like, dude, you're watching the UFC when there's a guy climbing the tallest building in the world with no ropes? I mean, this is just ridiculous. What I'm talking about is someone climbing a building with no ropes that's so tall, and it was so cool. And that's just so much cooler than watching two dudes make out with each other inside of a ring in their underwear, okay? I just don't know how you can even get to watching UFC before they're just putting this in your face. Honestly though, I do hope that this does bring more attention to rock climbing and does get more people wanting to rock climb, because it's a really cool sport that not a lot of people actually, I guess, participate in. What he did was so insane. I mean, it's the first person to ever do something like this. I know there's people who've climbed some buildings, but nothing like that before. And yeah, I just really hope I start seeing more about this stuff as time goes on. Yeah, that's kind of a short video. I just kind of wanted to talk about that because it was something I found so cool, and watching it live was crazy. Getting to see this guy stand on top of such a high building and watching it live, you know, you don't actually know if he's going to make it to the top because so there's actually that kind of adrenaline, and it was just amazing. And you know, if anyone watches this video, you should definitely go look up who Alex Honnold is. Maybe look into some rock climbing stuff because it is the coolest sport that there is.